Good day, everyone. I'm Neri Jul G. Mejarito with my co-reporter, Ms. Michelle Emma Palin. Our topic for today is about the Chapter 11, Civil Society and Social Movements. The learning objectives of this chapter are: the student should be able to define civil society and social movements, describe their nature, analyze their interaction with the state, and know the different kinds of institutions and differentiate between formal and informal institutions. So what is civil society? Civil society is a much debated political idea pertaining to the space, arena, or sector situated between the state and the market. It is the sum total of civil institutions and citizens' organizations, separate and independent from the state and private business. The state does not dominate the transactions and relationships in the civil society arena. Neither do the values and procedures of the market control these transactions and relationships. Haywood in 2000 describes civil society as a realm of autonomous groups and associations reflecting the public and private divide. Thus, civil society is distinguished from the state and is used to describe a realm of autonomous groups and associations such as businesses, pressure groups, clubs, families, and so on. In this sense, the division between civil society and the state reflects a private and public divide. Civil society encompasses institutions that are private in that they are independent from government and organized by individuals in pursuit of their own ends. Dakin in 2001 also proposes the idea of civil society as an arena in which various activities take place with varying degrees of engagement with the state and the market. To rescue some degree of clarity, it may be helpful to concentrate on the idea of civil society as an arena in which the various activities that take place are informed by the different values determined by the different perspectives Walzer describes. The various institutions that operate there will do so on the basis of different priorities influenced by these perspectives. Individuals will do so on the basis of values inculcated through their background, education, and experience. These priorities and values may well include a commitment to the common good, but are not means certain to do so. Civil society is a crucial factor in development and shaping of events in a country. It can influence both government and economy. It is a counterweight to the oppression characterizing totalitarian regimes, often standing in opposition to rigid state controls. This is why dictators never fail to attempt to court the support of civil society, because it can unravel, weaken, or even destroy governments and state structures. One can only take a look at the experience of third world countries like the Philippines to appreciate the importance of the civil society. The Philippines is indeed a showcase of civil society. According to Carmel Veloso above in 2011, the country has always been characterized as a democracy with a very dynamic and active civil society. Years after the dismantling of the Marcos dictatorship, the civil society sector has expanded and continued to participate in the development processes of the country. The figure shows the relationships between the state, civil society, and the market. So as can be seen from the illustration, the informal institution of civil society is the space between the state and the market. A government may try to control, suppress, or intimidate civil society. However, civil society is independent of the state explaining why the informal institution can survive oppressive regimes. Now, let's discuss what is an institution. An institution is an established manner or means of conducting an activity that is widely accepted throughout society. It provides the procedure for carrying out production, consumption, exchange, and other daily economic activities. Institutions constitute the structure of an economic system. The rules through which members of society operate are established by this structure. Institutions fall into two categories: the formal and informal. Formal institutions are those based on laws enforced by the state. These institutions have a rigid structure, which has its advantages. There would be anarchy without these formal institutions because of their rigidity. However, formal institutions are not easily susceptible to innovations and may thwart progress. On the other hand, informal institutions do not have a rigid structure. They may change through time because they are rooted in the community and are a reflection of the customs, traditions, and beliefs of the community. Examples of informal institutions are civil society, the giving of gifts to government officials as an expression of gratitude for favors, pamanhikan, interceding for relatives, and fear of the number 13. Many formal institutions undoubtedly began life norm informally. Even before laws prohibited stealing, people at the start of civilization probably agreed informally that it was not good to steal. Certainly, informal institutions provide structure to a society, although they may not have transformed into a formal one. One example concerns our fear of the number 13, known as triskaidekaphobia. There is no 13th floor in buildings, so the next floor after the 12th is the 14th floor. Another is the refusal of brides to wear their wedding gowns before the wedding day itself. Brides will rather risk wearing an ill-fitting wedding dress rather than court bad luck. Now, what are the distinguishing characteristics of civil society? Philip Tuanyo in 2011 summarized the distinguishing characteristics of civil society as follows. There are three distinguishing characteristics of civil society. First, an institutional space composed of organizations, distinct but overlapping with the state and market, that advance the collective interest of its members and provide goods and services to the general public on a non-profit basis. The second, a distinct realm of values that deepen democracy. And the third one, an institutional mechanism that mediates competing demands through political, economic, and social participation. In essence, the unique features of a civil society are institutional space, a distinct realm of values, and institutional mechanism. Incidentally, there is much debate as to whether civil society includes the family. Haywood, in 2000, relying on the Hegelian perspective, believes that civil society is where individuals put their own interests first before others, in contrast to the family, which is marked by particular altruism. Nicholas Deakin, in 2001, however, thinks that the family cannot be removed from the definition of civil society, inasmuch as family linkages extend into the economy and public arena and often help to influence there. In the Philippines, at least, there can be no doubt that the family is considered as a formal institution. Article 15 of the 1987 Constitution contains provisions dealing with the family and the institution of marriage and is itself titled The Family. Section 1 of Article 15 provides that the Filipino family is the foundation of the nation. Section 1. The state recognizes the Filipino family as the foundation of the nation. Accordingly, it shall strengthen its solidarity and actively promote its total development. The Congress has also enacted the Family Code Article 149, of which states that the family is a basic social institution. Article 149. The family, being the foundation of the nation, is a basic social institution with public policy cherishes and protects. Consequently, family relations are governed by law, and no custom, practice, or agreement destructive of the family shall be recognized or given effect. Inasmuch as the family is a formal institution, logic dictates that it cannot be part of civil society, which is an informal institution. The family may have started out as an informal institution, but it has been transformed into a formal one by virtue of the Constitution and the laws of the country. What are civil society organizations? Civil society organizations, or CSOs, are associations which are established independently of and operate outside the state and the market. Despite their being independent, CSOs invariably interact with the state and the market. The most fundamental attributes of CEOs are: they are voluntary, they are non-governmental, and they are non-profit. Their existence is predicated on making claims and demands on the government. These claims and demands are based on their advocacies, which may include political, economic, and legal forms. Ideally, the engagements of civil society with the state and the market are occasioned by this decision-making process independent of outside influence. So, viewed from these perspectives, CSOs cover the gamut of non-government and non-profit groups that interact with government and business. These groups include social civic organizations, professional organizations, academia, media, churches, people's organizations, non-governmental organizations or NGOs, and cooperatives. On the other hand, Carmel Velosa Abao in 2011 limited Philippine CSOs into 5 subsectors: non-governmental organizations or NGOs, people's organizations or POs, think tanks and policy research institutes, cooperatives, and media non-profit organizations. The earlier enumeration provides a more comprehensive coverage of CSOs than above, although it does not include think tanks and policy research institutes. Whatever paradigm is followed, a group existing independently of the state and the market, which is non-profit, voluntary, and has interaction with the state and the market, falls within the category of a CSO regardless of its ideology, goals, and objectives. This ends my report. The continuation of this chapter will be discussed by Michelle M. Mapalad. Thank you.